Ricky,
No
you need to
golf
get some
now
better
magazine?
magazines.
No, this is Lynx. Clever name, right? There's a pizza place here in Scottsdale called Sauce. Like, how clever is that? We're just gonna open a pizza place, call it Sauce. Let's have a golf magazine and call it Golf. Well, Lynx. No, there's an article in this issue about speed golf and running, and you know how fit I like to be. Hashtag True and Fit. So I was reading that. Sorry, excuse me. Hey,
Hashtag what?
and you weren't here a couple of weeks ago last, so the intro, this part is my favorite part. Well, the back nine is my favorite part, but this is something that we have together. So I like that when we do this. Notice I got a new picture of Tiger hanging up over there that came from I think Golf Magazine.
Is Tiger still around?
Yeah, he's opening a restaurant. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw your post actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as it opens, I'm gonna go down there and we'll do a hangout live from the longest restaurant name in the world. Anyway, we've got Jason Boslow from Shop Junior Golf. We have Les Bailey from Pro Golf Now, and I've got some news. Do you guys want some news?
Yeah.
So the Friday Foursome, as everyone knows, can be seen in the Google Plus Golf community. It can be seen in previous episodes, be seen on YouTube. But now, the week after, as Les used to share on Pro Golf Now, you're going to be able to see the video and some additional insight from the video on Golf Life TV. We had Golf Life on last week as a guest. Les, you missed, so you might not even know what Golf Life TV is. But
hey, I was playing golf last week.
Well, no, that's not an excuse. I'm jealous that you can play golf during the middle of the day. But now you're going to be able to watch these on Golf Life TV as well. So it's just going to help increase viewers and increase the exposure for this. And looking forward to that. And we have some really, really big news coming, but you're not going to get that until November. So we can talk about that offline, though. But I am excited about today's guest because, and I'm going to give Martin Chuck a little bit of a hard time before we get started because Martin Chuck from Tour Striker Golf Academy was the guest. And then he said, hey, I'm going to go travel, so I can't, but let's find you a replacement. And then he posted a picture this morning on the golf course. So I don't know if he's playing, and maybe he's pulling a Les and just playing golf. But besides that, he was very eager to be able to provide us a replacement guest, and I am pumped because, one, I don't know this guy's name. It's either Jim or James or Jimbo, or I'm not even sure. So besides telling us what he wants us to call him, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Jimbo Waldron. How's it going, man? Welcome to the Friday Foursome.
Good to be here. You can just call me Jim or Big Jim. That's been, as of recent, it goes through like phases, like Big Jim, and Jim is kind of the name for now. But yeah, it's very versatile. I've been called a lot of things.
Well, very cool. Well, take a couple minutes, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, how you know Martin, and just what your role in the golf world is.
Like I said, I am Jim Waldron. I've lived out here in Scottsdale for about 6 years. I went to the Golf Academy down in Chandler, graduated in 2009. I worked at some golf courses, and I also worked as a personal trainer at Pure Fitness. And then I got into teaching a little bit with, I knew Aaron Olson, who used to work at Raven. He works at Poppy Hills now. And he said he was doing these golf schools. And, last year he said, hey, we need a coach that that can help us out. And I said, man, I really wanted to get into teaching, so I started teaching down at the Raven with the Tour Striker Golf Academy at the end of December last year. And I taught the rest of the season there up until May. I also teach I taught with Jeff Ritter the past 2 years out at Pebble Beach for U.S. Sports Camps, Nike Junior Golf Camps. So the past couple years I've been getting into teaching, and also learning the teaching side. I want to get more into teaching with everyday players, maybe not tour players, but right now teaching is really what I like to do, and I'm getting a lot better at it. But I'm also doing long drive, which a couple of years ago I got into that. So I recently won the Arizona Championship Series back in May 25th, with a winning ball of 426 yards, I believe. So,
give or take.
I got my first win this year. I've hit in the Remax World Long Drive, but I mean, as we'll talk about today, it's really hard in terms of the level of competition when you get up to the big stage at Remax. Anybody can beat anyone at any time. So, I'm basically an instructor who can hit the ball really far. So if the lesson starts going to crap, I can say, hey, you know what? let me just bang some drivers and see if I can hit the clubhouse, because that would be a lot more fun than you to try to fix your slice and you're still slicing it. So
now, Jason, he said long drive, not long putter.
no, not long putter.
Love how you slid that one in there. Very impressive. Very impressive. So, just curiosity, do you know?
The long driver has a long putter though. They're about 48 inches, so you can really, they're only about 3 degrees above the loft of a putter, so you can try to belly it into the hole, use it to putt.
That's funny.
So, do you know Lyle Pruitt? He's actually in my area. He's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where I'm based.
No. What's his name?
No. Niall Pruitt. He's also a long drive guy, or at least a former long drive guy from.
Niles. No, I don't recognize the name right off the bat, but.
So that just means you hit the ball further than he does. That's all that means.
Probably.
Well, it's because I tell people, hey, I do, I'm a long drive competitor, and I get and I've competed in Remax, and the first thing that people say, they're always like, oh, do you hit it further than Tiger Woods? Of course. I can hit it further than Tiger Woods, all day long, but he's the best golfer to ever play. He'd wax me by at least 10 strokes if we went out and played, the courses in our respective tees. So
could you say that one more time? Tiger is what? One more time, just to make sure that Jason and Les heard you.
He's probably the greatest player to ever play. One of the best.
Right, just making sure, because that's what I say.
So.
Hey, he's just a youngster that didn't get a chance to watch Jack play when he was younger.
Which you did.
Which I did.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, it's funny because I'll be when I teach out at Pebble Beach, every week I'll hit for the junior golfers, which is basically my time to practice because we're with these kids from 6 a.m. until 10 at night. So I really don't have a whole lot of time to practice. So I'm hitting for these kids, and a lot of times I'll be like, "Yeah, you guys know who Bubba Watson is?" They go, "Oh yeah, you say something of a guy who hits it long." Everyone thinks of Bubba Watson, which. He's super fast, hits it far, but I'll hit just a normal driver. My driver swing speed when I'm playing with my normal driver is mid 120s, and I'll hit like a stock driver out there, and I'll be like, well, if Bubba Watson was hitting balls here right now, that's about what it would look like, sound in terms of ball speed wise. Maybe not shot shape, but when you really put it in perspective that way, that's how fast. Not just me, just these long drive guys are. Who they might not be good players, but they can hit the ball so hard, it's truly unbelievable when you see someone hit a ball with over 210 mile an hour ball speed. So
that's pretty fast.
Well, yeah, so I'm going to step in. I know it's Les's turn, but you brought up kind of a segue into my next question. So Les, sorry, I'm going to step. He said something about a stock driver, and I'm curious, dying to know what is the difference between a driver that you use in a long drive competition and what a stock driver is.
And you just stole one of my questions.
No, that was one of my questions. You can ask Ricky.
That's a really great question because with long drive, I like to use the word patterns in terms of golf swings and what you do to create a different ball flight or to hit the ball further. It's basically a club that's legal. The face is legal. The heads are legal. They're not oversized. The heads aren't too hot. They just a lot of time, most of the time, I will say most of the time, they have less loft on them. They'll have anywhere from I have a 3 degree true loft up to about 5 or 6 degrees. So the guys hit lower lofted drivers that are the faces they're legal, and the club is normally longer. I say normally because some guys compete with anywhere. Some guys hit shorter shafts that are 46.5, but most of the guys hit a 48-inch club, which is legal. The longest legal limit for a club is 48 inches. So
I didn't even know that.
It's basically a longer club with less loft, and the shaft frequencies are a lot higher, or the shaft is stiffer. So that's basically in a nutshell. When I say stock driver, I've got I've got an R1 that's an 8 degree with a 73X shaft. So it's a pretty normal setup that you would see for a better player or a tour player. I don't hit a 3X 3 degree when I go out and play normal golf. So that's the big thing. But kind of going back on some guys like David Mobley, he's won Remax in 04 and he won the senior division a couple years ago. He hits 9 degree drivers, 8 degree. It's normal lofted drivers with softer shafts. So everyone's always a little bit different because they load the shafts differently coming down. So then Jamie Sadlowski hits a 5-degree 3x that's tipped like 2 inches. So everyone's always a little bit different in terms of their setups, but the clubs are longer with less loft and a stiffer shaft.
Les, did you hear that? There's a senior division, so there's still a chance for you to go out there and compete.
Yeah,
I
compete in seniors.
I would have to compete with Lon Hinkle, and I think he won the long drive back in the 80s somewhere.
Ricky doesn't even remember the 80s.
Yeah, I know.
Born in the 80s. Does that count?
One of the questions I had, and when I found out you were involved with long drive, most long drivers get into long drive because they don't know how to putt. Can you putt? And do you use a regular putter or do you cheat?
No, yeah, I use no, I would not say I wouldn't say I'm a good putter, but I would say I'm an average putter at best in terms of, I mean, I was talking to Ricky yesterday. I've only played 4 rounds of golf all year, so I don't really play a lot of golf. When I'm on the golf course, it's during a golf school when we're with our students on the course, and I'll hit a couple drivers and some shots into greens or a couple of chips, but I don't normally play with them. I'm always focusing on them and coaching them on the course. So to answer your question, I'm not a very good putter.
Well, that's 10 strokes that Tiger's going to beat you by then.
Yeah, that's probably it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just overall game, like those guys practice so much. Like that's why I like, I can teach great. I can be a great teacher of golf, and I can also be a great long driver because I don't need to hit drivers for 8 hours a day to be a great and accomplished long driver. So, and if I did that, I would probably not be able to stand up. That's a lot of balls hit every day, as hard as we're hitting it. So that's the kind of good trade-off with long drive. I can be a great teacher and still, pursue my teaching career and be a competitive long driver.
So you've said 2 words there that are literally leading to my next question. You're a golf teacher, coach. Is there a difference, and can you explain the difference in between the two as it relates to you as a teaching professional?
Well, I like to think of coaching in terms of where you're on the course, you're with them, you're coaching them up, maybe not doing anything too mechanical, kind of being there for them and kind of understanding them as a player, what they can do to play better golf. And like when you're teaching somebody, it's kind of breaking it down to where I'm a teacher where, okay, so now we're going to work on this specific part of the swing, or like you struggle with this area of the game. So that's a good question. I think they kind of blend together. It's kind of like when you would say I'm a golf professional compared to a professional golfer. I think those are 2 different things. Like a professional golfer is someone who plays for money and can play at a high level, compared to a golf professional, someone who works in the industry with teaching or working at the golf course. So yeah, that's a good question. Teaching and coaching, I think, can kind of intertwine and kind of overlap each other. So
yeah, I dig that. Nice.
So I didn't realize your personal training background, especially when it came to junior golf, which is my fascination in golf, is kids golf. What type of golf-specific exercises do you do, and do you recommend to your students?
That's a great question. When I was personal trainer, I was in a corporate setting, so the reason why I didn't like personal training was trying to sell it and do all this stuff. But in terms of golf-specific stuff, I mean, I like to incorporate a little bit of core work and stability, but I think with the overall training program of a golfer, I think it needs to be more balanced, correlated, and mixed in with flexibility with a type of yoga or that type of stuff. So we do that in our programs at the Tour Striker Academy. Our schools, we have a yoga session for an hour, and it's more golf specific in terms of you're not doing these weird yoga poses, but it's stretching the right muscles that can help you play better golf. So I think core work along with balance and flexibility is going to give you a better outcome than just throwing a medicine ball up against the wall, doing that type of stuff. So, and that works for some people, but I think if you built a program around that type of stuff, like flexibility, core work, and overall stability, I think you're going to have a better outcome. And that's easier to teach juniors, like some balance stuff, simple core exercises that can help them stay more balanced compared to throwing weights around and all that other type of stuff where you can essentially hurt juniors where they're we got to get you in the gym and get you to bench press or squat and do all these not weird, but unsafe exercises for kids that are still developing and trying to grow.
Great answer. My second question, seeing as how Jason took my second question, I guess I'll have to go to the third question.
Sharing is caring, Wes. We're sharing.
My question is a two-parter. Number one, are you going to go to Mesquite this year? And number two, if you do go to Mesquite, who do you have to beat?
No, the Mesquite World Long Drive Championship actually happened last week. I went to the last chance qualifier. The finals, this is the way they do it. They'll have 128 guys in the field, and then they break it down to the top 8. They call it the October 8, which this year the finals is in November, so I don't know why they call it the October 8. But anyway, the way they did it was I hit in regional events this summer and didn't do quite so well in it. With long drive, you get 6 balls in 2 minutes 45 seconds. So if you have a bad set and it's a double elimination, you get into the losers bracket, and then it doesn't matter who you are. Like any kid, that can hit the ball somewhat far, has a good set, they can beat anybody out there. So I didn't qualify. I went to the Remax last chance qualifier, and just didn't hit it too well. It's tough to get in with a lot of these guys who are getting really fast, but I did hit in it last year, and it was my first year, and I was really nervous. But I was in the World Long Drive field. I didn't have to do the last chance qualifier. So with long drive this day and age, the best guys in the world, like Jamie Sedlowski, Jamie has made top 8 on planet Earth 8 years in a row. Wow. That is unbelievable how consistent he is. He's I'm going to say he's only won 2 of those 8 times, but he has been in the top 8 times in a row since wow. He won it in 2008. I think he made top 8 in 07. So whatever 8 years ago is, he was making top 8, to get in there. Joe Miller is the fastest guy on the planet. Next to Tim Burke is very fast. Like in terms of measurement of club head speed, everyone's kind of different. In terms of how they measure it, but those guys they're getting up to 150 mile an hour swing speed. So their ball speeds are getting 225.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievably fast. But Tim Burke got knocked out in like the 3rd or 4th round. So it's like he might be the fastest guy, but if you have a bad set, you're
done. Yeah.
You don't hit the grid. You go OB. You don't get a mark, and a guy who heeled one in at 340 gets in. Like that's how it works sometimes. Like if you don't hit the grid, but the worst feeling ever in long drive is getting eliminated by going out of bounds and not even hitting the grid and giving yourself a chance. So I think with long drive, this day and age, everyone's getting faster in terms of club head speed and ball speed, and Jamie Sedlowski and Joe Miller from England are, I think, I'm quite honestly, and a lot of long drive guys are like this. We're not afraid of too many guys. If someone said, "Hey, come up and hey Jim, give me 6 balls each, I'll take you on head to head." Like I'm not afraid of too many guys, but if Jamie Sedlowski, Joe Miller,
and Tim Burke, right?
Of one of the other guys that are just super fast. There's just so many out there that can just Tim Burke. It's called the freak ball. Those guys, if they hit their best ball, they're not going to get beat. The slower guys have to hit the absolute best ball of their life, hit the perfect numbers, hit the sweet spot right on the face in order to win the event like that. Like Carl Walter won back in 2011, and he could swing the club maybe 138 miles an hour. That's really slow.
Only. Oh, that's so slow.
I was going to say, Ricky, you even know what yours. Ricky,
yeah, you guys. You got to understand.
115, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And I got guys swinging 137. His ball speed's over 200, but he was hitting maybe 205 ball speed. But it's downwind, 30 miles an hour when he hit like a 459 ball or something like that, 460 ball, and just hit it
Those are called par fives where I come from.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's just tough. Like, do I look for certain guys? Like, anyone can beat anyone at any time. When you're at the big stage at any long drive event where, you know, some of these guys are just so fast, and at any time they can just blow one by or just hit the freak ball that just there's just no way you can touch it. So that's why you see him screaming and yelling all the time. If you've never hit a ball that hard in your life off of the sweet spot, swinging that hard, like, it's just so hard to explain. That's why I've gotten addicted to long drive in terms of always kind of changing my golf swing. Like, what can I do to swing it faster? I've really changed my golf swing the past 2 years. I've actually got some YouTube videos on my Google Plus account of 2 years ago when I first started getting a long drive, to where if you saw it now, it would be completely different. So it's, you know, it's always wanting to get faster, and I think a lot of long drive guys, they're very stubborn, and they're going, you know what, if I hit my best ball, no one can beat me. So that's what's great about the sport, which it's kind of true, where, you know, if at any time someone can hit their best ball and just annihilate.
I tell you what, you can beat me, and you can probably do it with about a 6-iron. So
yeah, maybe. I've hit 126 on TrackMan with a 5-iron swing speed. I think I carried it like 250 yards or something like that. But it's hard to hit. I think it's hard to swing that hard with irons because they're shorter, so it's a little steeper in terms of overall swing plan, and it's really hard to. You know, you got to hit off the tee. You can't hit off the ground that hard. So
yeah.
You bust the shaft.
Yeah.
My iron, so I mean that helps out a little bit. But, you know, that's the other thing. I'll be on a par 3, like, yeah, I do a long drive, where the hole's 200 yards. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna hit your wedge. Like, you get people asking you dumb stuff like that. It's like, I don't swing that hard with an iron, like, ever. So it's just funny when people are like, well, you're hitting your pitching wedge, huh? Like 200 yards. I'm hitting my 5-iron. It's like, well, I'm hitting like a 6-iron. So, like, I don't swing that hard. I hit an iron into a green. There's no point.
Well, considering you can go from tee to green in one shot, where most of us it takes 3, what is your typical score on a golf course?
If I'm in the 70s, I'm actually pretty happy. Like I said, I've only played 4 rounds of 18 all year. So I mean, if I go out and play 9, if I'm around even, maybe a couple under, a couple over. Most of the time, I'm always right around a couple over per 9. But and like your question about my putting, like, people, yeah, it's kind of, putting is way boring compared to hitting drivers. So I can
really see a viral video being created right here. It's a long drive putter, like a long putter drive. I don't know. It could be fun.
And that's the other thing. You get into you see the long drive demos where guys hit the putters, you know, 300 yards. Like I did that at one of my junior camps, and I bent my face to like 30 degrees aloft on like 2 hits. So you got to find the right putter in order to do that. I don't know where Jamie gets his little, when he does his putter bit. I don't know where he gets his putter, because he's lashing at that thing, and it's still going pretty far. I don't know how the heads don't break. So you got to find the right putter in order to do that shot, the putter, you know, the long putter shot.
Have you ever met Tim Burke, and can you hit 427 in competition?
Well, my longest ball is 426.
No, I'll take that.
No, I was at the Adobe Dam Family Center, which is up in Glendale, and when I hit on that range, there really wasn't a whole lot of grass. It's almost like we were hitting on dirt. So when I hit that ball, if it had been on grass, like out in the fairway, if we were, you know, playing at a golf club in Phoenix that was flat, it'd have probably been like a 400 ball. But that turf being really hard, I think since then they put grass on it, but it's such a long way to hit a golf ball. When Tim hit his 427, he was elevated like 70 feet off the ground. So who knows how far the ball would have really went if he'd have been on a flat, you know, at the Mesquite grid, which is soccer fields. It's an event complex. So, you know, if he'd have been on that flat grid, and there really wasn't any wind either, so I really don't know how much farther he hit, because he was elevated that far in the air.
He hit the 427 from the ramp at the Speedway there at Las Vegas.
That's what I was thinking of. Was it Las Vegas Speedway?
Yeah,
it
was Las Vegas Motor Speedway where he hit that shot that night. He went 427 and he won the competition.
It's so funny because Tim's a good example. He hit the grid like around 20% of the time or something like that, and he ended up winning because every time he hit the grid, he would hit it over 400 yards. Like he made sure the balls he got on the grid really counted because he hit what 149 swing speed or something like that, or
yeah, I think it was.
He hit 222 ball speed on his winning ball, which is just ridiculous. So I mean, that's kind of where it gets into like holy smokes, like over 220 is like, man, you pretty much control your own destiny. Like if you hit the sweet spot with good impact alignments, like you're going to be tough to beat if you can hit over 220 ball speed.
Well, so how many times?
My 9-year-old got a new putter about 2 weeks ago, and he hit his farthest drive ever on Wednesday at about 220.
Wow, how old is he?
He's 9.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was awesome. He smoked it, man. It was cool.
I hit my 3-wood kind of that far-ish.
He's normally around 180 or whatever. I don't know what happened on that one, but he completely got a hold of it. It was incredible.
Yeah, you interrupted Les. He was going to ask another question.
No, that's all right. I was just filling time, man.
So my last question is, what charities are you involved with? I saw on your site that you guys that you're involved in some charities. You want to talk about those?
I'm not sure exactly what.
I thought it was on your Facebook. Was it a T-shirt that you were selling for a fundraiser?
Oh yeah, I have a Jimbo Logic. That's kind of my Facebook page. I developed that through. We had a video one time, and someone commented like, oh yeah, that was like Jimbo Logic. So that was my fundraiser to get to the last chance qualifier, since it's about a 6-hour drive to Mesquite. So I developed that logo myself, and I made a shirt and sold those shirts to help me pay for my expenses for when I went to Mesquite. You know, awesome. Get the hotel, and I'm actually pretty lucky. A lot of these long drive guys, they got to buy a plane ticket, they got to fly into Vegas, they got to rent a car, and then they got to drive over. So I just have to drive up to Vegas, $50 worth of gas each way, and the hotel's like $30 a night. So, and the entry fee with the last chance was factored into that too. So that was the fundraiser that I did for me getting up into that last chance. My Jimbo Logic. It's not serious golf information. It's just a page that I created to kind of put more of a humor side to golf in terms of kind of keeping it light and relaxed, and stuff golfers say. I'm going to start making videos, kind of poking fun at some of the golf things that you see on the golf course that everyone probably thinks in their head, like the guy. What's one thing? Like the guy that wears cargo shorts on the golf course. Like who does that? Like stuff that you see on the golf course that you're just like, what is going on? So that Jimbo Logic page on Facebook.
Name a couple of more, because I want to make sure that I'm not that guy. I don't wear cargo shorts.
Dirty white belt guy? The guy who has a really dirty white belt. Are you that guy?
No, I wear a white belt, but it's clean, fresh.
Okay,
from Sligo, the official apparel provider for the Google Plus golf community. So #name drop, #white belt.
When I was in golf school at the golf academy, we had to dress in golf attire every day, and one day I showed up with my white belt that I had had for a long time, and it was kind of dirty, and everyone was like, "Dirty white belt!" Like, hey. So
I'm gonna
that moment. Every time I wear a white belt, I make sure it's clean. Or dirty white pants, like the guys who got the pants that are white but they're kind of faded. You can tell shoes that are white that need to be cleaned really bad. So it's like, polish those shoes up. Just stuff like that. In terms of my sense of humor, when I think of golf, like stuff like that, I think is very funny. Like making fun of your friends for wearing the cargo shorts, or wearing golf sandals, Crocs, or the Croc sandals, or whatever those sandals are. I don't even know. Like if you wear those, like you don't. I had a friend who his dad wore those, and his feet got like really sunburned. Like he went on vacation.
Like, it's not awesome that he got sunburned. But
his feet got sunburned from wearing golf sandals. So stuff like that, I think is really entertaining with golfers in terms of making fun of golf and making light of it, to where you can kind of put yourself out there with the funny side. I think that's kind of the funny side of golf. The stuff that people wear, and sometimes what they do. So
Well, Jason's out of questions. Les, do you have any final questions for Jim, James, Jimbo?
Well, no, but I came up one short because Jason took it. So
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss about that offline and make sure that he is reprimanded for his.
okay, yeah.
So
make him putt with a regular size putter for a week.
I'll try.
Oh, there you go. I need that.
I'm not promising anything, but I'll work.
Okay, so we are out of time. I told you it was going to go fast, and I actually didn't even get to my second question, but I'm more excited about the Back9. And Jason, I think we're going to maybe change it a little bit. Versus being rapid fire, do you want to make it just 9 questions, like coffee talk kind of? Or do you?
Come on now, that's really what it is anyway. We say rapid fire.
Nobody's ever rapid fire. Okay,
I was going to say that, you know.
9 questions. They're random. They're golf related. They're fun. Are you ready for the Back9? Not Jason. You, Jim.
Oh yeah. I'm ready for the Back9.
That happens way too often. All right. Now you're not allowed to say the Raven, but what is your favorite golf course? Or
my favorite golf course of all time?
Yeah.
Right now, I would say Monterey Peninsula Golf Club in Monterey. It's a private club in Pebble Beach. I played that last year. That's a very nice golf course.
Okay. Favorite PGA Tour major? And if you say the Masters, you're pretty much right in line with everyone else.
I think the U.S. Open is great because the everything leading up to it, all the qualifiers and everyone trying to get into the U.S. Open. I think it's one of the best events in terms of the course layout's always the toughest. I love the Masters, but it's always the same course and all that. But the U.S. Open I think is great because the course setup is always the hardest. And it's fun to watch everything kind of leading up to that with all the qualifiers. You got your guys that that play on mini tours and they're trying to get into the U.S. Open, so you kind of root them on before the event. So I think that one would be my favorite one.
I like that. And one of these days, I want to see the winning score at the U.S. Open be like +3. I would love to see an over par score. I know, but not modern day, recently. Have you ever had a hole-in-one? And if you say yes and it was on a par 4, I'm going to laugh and give you a high five.
Yes, I do have. I do have a hole-in-one. I got it June 6th of 2012. I was on Legacy Golf Course, hole number 7. The hole's only about 110 yards. I hit a 56 that I thought I chunked into the bunker. I hit my shot. I was playing with my buddy Ryan, and I said, as I walked up to the tee, I was like, you know what? This is the easiest pin location on this hole. So, it should be an easy par. So I go up there and hit it. It was kind of tucked behind the bunker a little bit. So I said, or chunking into the bunker. I was getting all mad. Hits right next to the pin, one hops and sucks in. And he was like, or in. And I was just I felt really bad because I was being all pouty and negative when the ball was in the air, but then it ended up going in. But I got to see it go in. So.
Well, I'm pouty and negative pretty much all the time, too, when my ball's in the air, so mine never go in. Maybe. And I'm playing there on Sunday, so I'll make sure I think of you on that tee box, and maybe I'll repeat your lucky shot.
Wouldn't that be something? The odds, that'd be a good story.
That would be. Okay, so there are a lot of them out there. Happy Gilmore's probably mine, maybe Tin Cup, but what is your favorite golf movie?
Yeah, I would definitely say Happy Gilmore because growing up when I was little, the part where Happy Gilmore took his club and hit the clown's nose off, and it was like talking crap to a clown that was at a mini putt course. I remember watching that bit over and over. I would replay it and just laugh at it because the stupid clown's face and it spits the ball out and then. Happy, which is who names their kid Happy anyway? I don't know what the deal is with
parents.
Hit the nose off the clown. That's one of my earliest memories of. I watched it when I was little, but I always remember watching that part, knowing that I was gonna laugh every time I saw it.
Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
Favorite what?
LPGA Tour player.
Oh. Favorite LPGA player? I would say Suzanne, is it Pedersen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was she Swedish?
Les probably knows.
Yeah, she is.
She's really nice.
Okay, so I think I know how you're going to answer this, and I am Tiger's biggest fan, so be careful how you answer this. But will he break Jack's record? And I should have changed this to will Steve Williams go back to him as a caddy, but will he break Jack's record?
No, there's no chance that he's going back to Steve. I don't know. Will he break it? I'll take kind of the conservative answer. If he doesn't hurt himself anymore and he actually plays golf, I think he can do it. But
well, he is going to be a chef in a restaurant in Jupiter, Florida now, so he's got some other things going on. He's going to be making hot dogs and hamburgers down there.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, but I love it with Tiger. Like he has a bad tournament. Like he hits like a pull hook, and people think like his career's over. Like he won like 5 tournaments last year. But I mean, he's just so banged up nowadays. Like you just never really know with him. Where every week it's a withdrawal because it's his knee, now it's his back. And I think if he stays healthy, he's got a good chance to beat it. But it's not because he's not good enough. But that being said, the level of players in terms of that can come out and win a major, at any time, like all these young players are really good. Like I'm really impressed with Ricky Fowler this year, playing in the majors. Every major this year, he was just right on top of it. So I think it'll be good for him to come out of his shell the next couple of years now that he's actually been in the heat in majors more than once every year or so. I think he'll do it, but he's got to stay healthy, and with him these days, like you just never know how many tournaments he's going to play in a row before he gets hurt.
Okay, let's take this a little bit off of golf. What's your favorite craft beer? There's a lot of good ones here in Arizona.
My favorite draft beer?
Craft. It doesn't have to be an Arizona beer, but if it was, that'd be fun.
It's okay if you say Budweiser.
No, it's not okay if you say Budweiser.
I like. Oh wow, that you caught me off guard there. I don't know. It just purely on taste.
Yeah. So Les, he's not saying Budweiser.
I think the Sunbrew from is that a craft beer?
It is.
Sunbrew from the what? Four Peaks.
Peaks. I was trying to help you out there. Like, oh, cool.
I think that one tastes really good. It's I think in terms of taste, like that would be one of my, if I could have a choice, or because it tastes kind of like the Blue Moon. It's got kind of like that kind of
the next step up from Budweiser, Les. Bud Light. Okay, now because you're not on Twitter, I'm going to make you answer this last question in 140 characters or less. What's next for Jimbo?
What's next for Jimbo? Jimbo's going to have a good 2015 season, 2014-2015, gaining experience teaching, developing my long drive swing and career, as developing a great product that everyone's going to use in order to gain confidence.
Maybe it's good that you're not on Twitter because that was about 212 words.
You think so? I don't know. I don't know how to say everything, so I kind of drag things out and repeat stuff.
That's all right. That's all right. This was fantastic. I appreciate you stepping in. Thank you to Martin Chuck for traveling today and still playing golf this morning. I'm going to give you a hard time about that via email later. But Jimbo, thanks for doing this. Jason, Les, we'll
next
see you
year
guys.
we'll be getting that on the run. So I think it'll be a good year. It's fun. I want to. If you could say, Jim, what's your dream situation? Is where I'm a very established teacher. I've got long drive wins. I'm very established in long drive. Where if I had my own golf course that had its own long drive grid, where it was a 500-yard grid, and I ran qualifiers and long drive events, and I did like speed training and distance golf schools. That would be my ultimate gig. So maybe by next year I can get to that point where I have my own driving range and run events. But
I like it. You heard it here first.
Well, how many words was that, Ricky?
Was a lot more than 140 characters.
I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Well, as always, this episode is presented by the Back9 Network. They started this week on DirecTV. I haven't seen any of their stuff yet, but I hear that they've got off to a pretty good start, and a couple of their shows look pretty cool. Shane Bacon is one of their announcers, so I'm excited to see him finally getting on the big screen. And Jason, Les, have you guys watched any of the shows?
No, but now that Shane Bacon is on there, I'll probably go take a look.
Okay, cool. Well, very good. And as Jesus Martinez always says, from probably my favorite golf movie, make more birdies.